And it's ready.
Are we live already?
We are live already.
Oh my goodness, we are live. There was a time in our life when we were always scared to go live somewhere along that line. And nowadays it should be easier because we are so used to Zoom meetings, to being on camera, to do live feeds. There's hardly anybody should have a fear of being live nowadays. Everybody should have an easy live to go. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm hoping that nothing, I was like even struggling with my PowerPoint presentation right now. So if everything collapsed, I was just blabbering away. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from, just as you are joining that session. Siddhi Tina, yes, my student, just bring her in. Yep, oops, it's too early, it's too early, it's too early. Don't want to show you my slides yet, okay? Just type in where you are coming from where you're tuning in. And of course, it would be so much easier, so much nicer also if you are all going on camera, because if you're on camera, then I get a little bit more energy from you, Sham. You're on camera. I think last week you were on the session as well. I really appreciate it very much. Just imagine if I were to speak like this, for example, and just being a blank screen or a black dot in the middle of nowhere, how would you feel if I would be like that? Most likely people would not like it as well if the speaker is behind the camera hiding away, and then naturally you would go off as well. So I'm going to go back online because in offline sessions, you can't run away. I would feed from your energy. You are feeding from my energy. And that is so much more fun. Okay. Now, have you ever, Mahatma Gandhi, we all do know Mahatma Gandhi, seen something gets stuck. He said, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions. Your action becomes your habit. Your habits become your values become your destiny. So today we're going to talk about beliefs and how beliefs either empower us or hold us back. And if you ever had a situation where you felt you could achieve more in your life, but felt that something inside of you holds you back, did you ever feel like you were stuck somehow, thought you wanted to do something, repeated it over and over and over again, and suddenly everything crashed down and you came back to ground zero, point zero, and you couldn't quite continue working along as well? Did that ever happen to you? If you ever had a situation like this, then please say yes. And I'm going to say hello to Siddhi and to Tina, to Cheryl, to Nirvana, to Jaden, Jasmine. Please come on camera. It would be so much nicer, okay? Did you ever have a situation where you wondered, why is it so hard to reach a certain outcome in your life? And you struggled, couldn't make it happen. It was really, really hard. Maybe you messed up stuff. You fell for the wrong partner along that line. So if you ever had that, or you had a limiting belief like, I just can't stop eating. We all right now in the pandemic, we all had the main muscle working was our jaw. We constantly chew and chew and chew and chew and chew. And that is maybe a limiting belief. Or if you said something like that, like, I am not smart enough, or I'm just not good enough. I can't get a good relation. I won't I can't find a job. I'm not loved. It's one of the big lies in our life. I'm not loved. I'm not worthy. Or did you ever say something like, I'm just so messed up? One favorite example could be, I just don't have enough time. I don't have the experience. I don't have the resources to pursue my passion, or I should avoid failure at all costs. I don't like my body. So many people say that as well. Or they're saying things like, if I trust people, they will hurt me. And then we have that famous words behind, because I can't stop eating, because, hey, Malaysian food is so nice. I'm not good enough. And that means I will never succeed. I'm not smart enough. I won't be successful. And that means I'm not successful. I can't get a good relation because I'm not handsome, I'm not pretty, I'm too big, too small, too hairy, too not hairy at all, whatever it is. If you ever had that in your life, welcome to the world of beliefs. But tonight, in tonight's session, You'll learn how to identify those beliefs, what it takes for you to eliminate it. Exactly enough, we can't quite really do 100% intense exercise or deep exercises, but I'm going to challenge you, and I want your participation as well. And of course, what it takes to eliminate those so that you too can succeed in all areas of your life. Something about me. Well, my name is Andreas, as we said already, or as we said, who said I that? I'm a certified NLP trainer, certified NLP coach trainer. Hey, Alyssa, good to see you as well. Master trainer of NLP, language behavior profile, timeline therapy techniques, master trainer of hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and of course, a certified trainer with HRTF. So we might or might not do something on hypnosis today. Maybe you're hypnotized already because you're listening to me or listened to earlier speakers. Anyway, let's have fun starting the session. See, I strongly believe, and I do know, people always say, when you learn NLP, when you do know hypnosis, I might shock you right now, when you learn NLP, you can read minds. So I'm going to read your mind right now. And Sham, since you are so awesome being on camera, I'm going to read you and look into your eyes, as small as a square is. And I do see something in your life. I do know you were a small child once in your life. I think I'm pretty much correct when I say that, right? We all were small before. We all came out of the womb. I never know how to say that. Our mom gave birth to us. We popped out into the world. There was no limiting belief. It's not quite true what I'm saying, but let's just assume there was no limiting beliefs. Kids don't know failure. Kids don't know what it takes to fail. They just do their stuff. They might have certain emotions, feelings of abandonment or fear inside of them, but it's easy to believe, that kids don't have a fear or don't have negative emotions, limiting beliefs deep inside of them. Between the ages 0 to 7, a child has no conscious mind, absorbs everything as being true. There's no conscious mind. So the child, and of course, later on, we have a conscious mind and we have that factor to push back. But between the ages 0 to 7, and research has shown that there's no conscious mind. The kid absorbs everything. So whatever a parent says, the kid is going straight into that part that we can't access anymore. Whatever the child experiences, it's the child's reality. That means sometimes we see little kids watching TV, they're crying away when there's something happens. I'm not sure if Barney is still around, and they're watching a cartoon, they cry away because for them, it's reality. If parents fight and are angry, the child feels affected, it straight away goes into the subconscious mind as well. The child experiences everything. When we are living in a time of prosperity and the parents can give the child lots of stuff, the child might create a mindset of abundance. But let's say the father or the mother loses a job, drinks or whatever, that's how the child learns how life is going to be. If the parents fight amongst each other, if the parents fight, when there's an argument, no kissing, no hugging, no whatever, the child learns that's the way of how arguments need to get figured out along that line. If the parents hug each other, kiss each other, show love to each other, be warm, be personal, the child learns that's how we are running our communication, our relationship. Not consciously, but it just runs going inside of us, and it becomes a belief deep within the child of how life should be run ultimately. But let's assume something happening. And that's a slide I just created today, and many of the slides I just created over the last couple of days. So here is a child. And let's say the child does not know money. Little babies, little kids, toddlers have no idea what is this famous thing called money. But the child knows, I love my papa, I love my mama. They're so close to me. They're the best people in the world. I just simply love them. And one day the child experienced a fight amongst the parents about money. Maybe there's a problem about money got lost, something along that line, and the child has no idea about what is money, but it says like, hey, I love my papa, I love my mama, and if money causes them to fight, I don't want to have such thing called money in my life. And maybe sooner or later, so it makes a little decision in its mind, maybe not a conscious decision. Okay, I don't like money because my parents fight, but the child knows, like, I just don't like money because it cost my mama, my papa to fight. As the child goes a little bit bigger, maybe one day the father comes home from work, is really upset and says, gosh, money just doesn't grow on trees. My goodness. The child is saying, I'm smart enough. I thought Papa is smart enough. I do know money doesn't grow on trees. How come Papa doesn't know that? But hey, if money causes my Papa to be so angry about the trees and whatever, I just don't want to have the thing money. So the child makes another decision. And maybe there's more fights going on. The kid wants to have something in the shop, in the Toys R Us, when Toys R Us still existed or so. And the mama says, we don't have money enough right now. We can't buy you that. And the child says, oh, I want to have that toy. Mama says, no, we don't have the toy. Boom, the child might start saying, like, okay, here's it again. That thing called money. I don't want to have it. And it starts to think into the unconscious mind, and it becomes slowly becomes a belief. It becomes a lens of how we look at the world. And then at a later stage, hey, just type into the chat box if any of you don't want to have money. Type in if you think money is good or you want to have financial freedom. Just type yes into the chat box if you want to have financial freedom, because we all want to have financial freedom. But let's say that little child now grew up big and tall and works hard, smart, maybe runs his own business and says, like, I want to have financial freedom. We all want to have financial freedom. I want to be rich. We all want to be rich. I want to create wealth. We all want to have wealth. But something goes wrong. The child just does not know. Something goes wrong. Anytime the child reaches a certain level in his life, something goes wrong, goes haywire, bankruptcy, losing money, gambling, maybe something happens and goes back to ground zero, and money dissipates. And the child says, like, the guy or the person then says, like, I just can't get rich. I don't know why it's so hard to become rich. And it's happening because, hey, parents always want their children to be good kids. So the mama or the papa said, like, hey, you are a good kid. You're going to grow up strong and good and wonderful and awesome. And the child says, I'm an awesome kid, but money is bad. It's deep inside the unconscious mind. And anytime the child gets money, what will happen? The belief comes up, okay, if I have money, then I'll become bad. So better, the unconscious mind takes care of that. We lift the old beliefs. So the unconscious mind tries to protect you from becoming a bad person. Be rich is bad. And the child loses some money and there's no idea anymore where it's coming. Welcome to the world of limiting beliefs. It can happen as well. It was a longer experience. It can happen that a child sits in the back of a room in classroom. And the teacher, we all know those teachers. The teacher says, you become a follower. You're just not a leader. Something along that line, because I had a project, maybe something running somewhere in school. Schools do that nowadays. And the teacher says sometimes only one sentence, one word. That's like, you're just not a leader. You become a follower. And his child wonders, or the growing up bigger wonders, how come I'm not becoming a leader? I'm messing it up. I can't build relationships. Anytime I get promoted to become a leader, I mess up. I feel bad about it. I mess up. That's a bad mistake here. Experience. My goodness, I made a bad mistake here. I just realized that. Okay, never mind. Okay, see, I don't feel bad about that one, but I wonder where this one is coming from. Okay, now the child can't become a leader because inside is that limiting belief about you're not becoming a leader. A real story now next is I had a student recently, or a coaching client, where a teacher, she was always good in school, aced it. But when she went to college, something went wrong because it was no longer that easy. She had to study harder and she failed for certain reasons. She failed. And the teacher gave her pity marks. She was just about 1 or 2 points before failing, before reaching a grad. And she got a pity mark from a teacher to move her through. And that installed deep guilt inside of her of not being worthwhile. I don't deserve to go to university. And that caused her huge problems right now. She's in university and she says, like, I don't deserve to be here because of that pity marks, which came from early experiences as well, different experiences. All of those is a world of limiting beliefs, limiting beliefs that hold us back from actualizing, from pivoting, from creating the life that we want to have. Consciously, we try to get that. And you all do know you got a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. Consciously, we do know we want to get it, have it. We want to get there. We want to lose the weight. We want to be better. We want to be wealthy. We want to create relationships. We want to achieve something in our life. But they're deep inside of us in this thing called subconscious or unconscious mind is running that little thing called beliefs and values, the thing we can't access anymore, little programs that prevent us from succeeding. They're emotions inside, all created because somewhere along that line in our life, we made that decision. I'm just not good enough. I can't succeed. I can't make it happen. It is tough to be there. I can't lose weight. I can't, whatever it is. Whenever you say, I cannot, that's a limiting belief. When somebody else in NLP, where I'm coming from, if somebody else says, I can do this, I can present, I can succeed, I can be rich, I can be whatever, and you have a problem along that line, that means you're running a limiting belief. There are certain limiting beliefs which are useful. Like, for example, the belief, I cannot fly, which is very useful, okay? Because you don't want to go to a skyscraper office building and jump down. Limiting belief might be, I don't want to take that bicycle or that car, destroy the car of my neighbor because I learned it's not good. It's a limiting belief, and it's a belief to live in. So they are limiting beliefs that are useful. It is a limiting belief to say, I don't want to cross the street because a car can kill me. That's a useful limiting belief. You don't want to cross the street and say like, hey, hooray, free of limiting belief. Hooray, I can cross Chalanton Rastak or the busiest street wherever you are, because there might be a car that's running over you. Don't do it. It's a useful limiting belief to have. So there are limiting beliefs which are actually quite useful. But of course, there are other beliefs where you don't want to go. And so I'm not sure if any of you know a lady by the name of Louise Hay. She died a couple of years back. She wrote a book, You Can Heal Your Body. Whenever you got a pain in your body, there are affirmations she created. She had a happy life. Really, if you don't know Louise Hay, research her, read a bit about her childhood experiences, how she broke up from bad circumstances, environment to create something within herself more empowering, to become a really awesome person, writing many books about affirmations, about heal your body and so on. And she said, we learn our belief systems as very little children. And then we move through life creating experiences to match our beliefs. So look back in your own life and notice how often you have gone through the same experiences. If you have the same experience over and over and over again, you struggle to achieve something, it simply means you're experiencing a limiting belief, heading towards something to do. So today, when you grew up and you have that limiting beliefs, when you can't reach your goals, you look at the world through the lens of your belief. It's like a horse running around with that lenses, with this, what is it called, blinders, and they can't look beyond. And the moment we are removing our blinds, we are seeing the opportunities we might have missed in our life before. And you have to realize, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. We have to realize that everyone's world is different, that your world is different from mine. We might think we look at the same world outside. We see the same thing perceivably, but it's actually not true. There's something happening. Look at the game here right now. We are looking at the same game and have different interpretations. I'm not sure if there's any football fan here or so. It's a game between Manchester United, Liverpool. I just found that somewhere along that line and the game was still 0-0. I don't even know how it ended up in the end. But did you ever have an experience? And I want you to type that into the chat box right now. Did you ever have an experience where you watched a movie, you loved that movie, totally, maybe Sham, maybe Anita, maybe Melissa, maybe Tina, you love that movie and you walk to your friends, maybe a squid movie. Hey, let's type it in the chat. Who loves a squid? What is it called? Squid something, 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 whatever, who likes it? Just type it in. I want to know that right now. Everybody watches it. Okay. Type it if you like that Squid Game. So whatever it's called, which runs on Netflix right now. We talked it earlier, the earlier session already. Who likes that Squid Game or that Squid series? I don't even know the title right now. Not watched it, but I just heard about it today. Who likes it? Come on. Anybody? Is here anybody available? See, that's why I don't like this screenshots. I'm outdated, haven't watched it. Nah, okay, good. Because everybody watches it. Nobody wants to admit it because nobody knows what I'm going to say, okay? Are you worried about what I'm going to say here right now? A lot of hidden stuff there. You saw a lot of hidden stuff. I just started to watch it, the first 10, 15 minutes, and I thought like, that's not for me. I don't like it. Maybe I'm going to have the stamina to watch it. Angela, what is the hidden stuff, for example, okay? Exactly. I'm following through. I FOMO, Angela, what is the hidden stuff in there? I'm curious about what you're saying right now, okay? Any of you ever watched that movie, Lala movie? Do you know Lala movie? La La Land, wasn't it? It was a 2 hours movie. Everybody watched it. And then I thought like, okay, even my students in my NLP training, everybody watched it. So La La Land, yes, exactly. So I watched it with my wife and we watched it and we thought like, when the movie is starting? When is it starting? I mean, goodness, nothing is happening. Something was happening. And it was like 2 hours movie. We were sitting there about 1 hour, 55 minutes, basically. We thought like, I think nothing is going to happen. Why do people like that? And it is because we have a different lens. You are running around with a different lens. If you do a presentation and you're saying like, I'm not good in presenting, I don't know why people do this, why do I have to present something? And people say to you, hey, you are a good presenter, but you say, I'm not that good at limiting belief. If you are struggling to get money, write down some stuff, some of your dreams you have, and you are struggling right now. Just type it in, basically. Write down if there's anything you want to have. Maybe you want to lose weight and you can't make it happen right now. Maybe you want to be free, financially free. Maybe you want to create your dream relationship. So that maybe when you're creating your dream relationship, but you got trouble to find that right partner right now, because we all look at the same thing and we have different interpretations. So what is some of your goals, some of your dreams, some of the struggle that you're following through right now that you're struggling to achieve? Just type it in the chat box. I'm really, really curious to have a balanced diet. And people just mean, thank you for participating. People might say, just go and order a balanced diet. And then I had a limiting belief for a long time saying like, it's hard to get a balanced diet in Malaysia because, hey, the food is great, awesome, best food in the world. That's just my belief to have. But it's fatty, it's oily, it's not the most healthy. What is the limiting belief? Because can you believe I was training a lady? I'm training people in leadership training, and there was one lady sitting there and she says like, I eat Nasi lemak every single day in the morning time. And everybody looked at her. It was their colleague, but they apparently didn't know that. And they're like, you are eating Nasi lemak every single day? Is Nasi lemak healthy or not healthy? What do you think? What do you think is Nasi lemak? I'm not sure if any of you are not aware of Nasi lemak. Nasi is rice and lemak, I think, is, what is it, coconut? My wife last time told me, but I forgot again. Luckily, she doesn't listen to it, to this one right now. So do you think Nasi lemak is healthy or not? Just type it in, yes or no. Not too much is not healthy, Alyssa is saying, right? I thought as well, that lady was absolutely, totally fit and skinny and absolutely healthy. And she said, like, Nasi lemak is healthy. It's got rice, got coconut milk, which is healthy, got fish, the ikan bilis, got cucumber, so got vegetables, got egg is healthy to her. And she said, what else is there? Peanuts. People say peanuts is healthy. She said, like, Nasi lemak is healthy. I think she's not cooking it every single day. She's just buying it from the store. I don't know if it's healthy, but she was absolutely fit. We are looking at the same thing. So for those of you who are coming right now, we are still talking about limiting beliefs. So don't think we are watching football here right now, okay? don't think you're missing a game between Manchester United and Liverpool right now, but we were just talking about limiting beliefs and how limiting beliefs cause us to look at the same thing and have different interpretations, because here's something you really want to write down. We all, outside of us, it's one of my most best-selling item on AirAsia. Okay, I don't know. I'm not traveling AirAsia that much right now. I didn't run it for a long time. Okay. Hey, my friend Rizal is coming. So what I want to share with you, outside of you, whatever you observe, be it a movie, be it a situation, be it a presentation you're experiencing, hey, seeing me here right now, it is just information. What you're experiencing outside, what you're experiencing, seeing, doing, it's just information. So you go shopping, it's just information. The waiter is talking to you about something, it's just information. The taxi driver is delivering some crab food to you, it's just information. Somebody is delayed, it's just information. You're watching a movie, it's just information. But this information is flooding onto us, goes through a certain filter in our mind, and then we are forming an interpretation inside of us. We are forming an interpretation about a certain situation inside of us. We evaluate it differently. So we are looking at something outside. I don't know if any of you was ever skydiving. Do you like skydiving or not? Do you like roller coasters? We are looking at that information outside. Inside of you, you are forming the interpretation about something. Do you like it? You don't like it? That's your interpretation. And that interpretation is formed by your limiting beliefs, or by your beliefs and by your values. They are the yardstick. Beliefs and values are your yardstick about something. Do you think it's true or do you think it's false? Is it good or is it bad? That's your yardstick about how you interact with your environment. Your interpretation is influenced by your own inner belief. And in NLP, I always have to say, there is no reality. Woody Allen was saying there's no reality, but it's the only place where you can get a good steak. Something along that line. Woody Allen was saying that. There's no reality, but it's the only place where you can get a good steak. And it's true, because there's no reality. Reality is your own interpretation. Do you evaluate it? Hey, there are 13 participants inside of here right now, maybe inclusive me. If I'm superstitious because of my inner beliefs, I might say 13, bad number. Oh my God, please bring in somebody else. This is 14, and my Chinese might come. 4 is a bad number. Oh my God, could be terrible overall. So bring it down to 15. Or I might say, as a trainer here right now, Andrea might say 13 only. How come? It should be hundreds. Or we are saying, hey, there are 13 people. Wonderful, awesome, congratulations. You are here. You're going to change your world. It is your interpretation about something, anything. But the interpretation about something is then influencing about how you act about it. Do you feel bad or good? If COVID is happening, do you see it as an opportunity or did you see it as a problem? Did you develop seeing it as an opportunity or see it as a problem? That's your reality. Britannica. I was finding that today, and I love that quote. A belief is the acceptance by the mind that something is true or real, often underpinned by an emotion, or what I mentioned earlier, that limiting decision we are making. I just can't get rich overall. I just don't like money. Or I can't stand that person. Or spiritual sense of certainty. So that's the acceptance of the mind. So you will always be right. So to break through, and here we're going to do an exercise in just a moment for about 5 or 10 minutes. To break through, you must challenge everything you believe, everything you experience. How do you do that? That's a challenging part, of course, because you got to dig deep inside of you. But again, I mentioned it earlier, if you evaluate something negatively, And it's not bad for you overall. So evaluate negatively. I'm scared to steal the car of my neighbor. That's a negative evaluation, which is positive overall as an outcome. So I talk limiting beliefs like, how come I can't be a leader? How come I feel bad interacting with that person? How come this is happening? How come that is happening? How come I can't make it happen? Especially if you have the same experience over and over again, it's a limiting belief. Let me give you another example, a woman being abused by a husband or a boyfriend. Let's say I'm by a boyfriend. I don't want to give you the real story, okay? By a boyfriend, being abused, being beaten up. She knows it's happening. After 3 to 4 weeks, the guy comes home, beats her up. And guys are really good in beating up because they can beat up a woman without having that bruises in the outside body, sometimes only bruises inside. And finally, she breaks up with that boyfriend. And she's happy. Life starts. I'm good here right now. I can succeed. I find a better relationship. She gets into a new relationship. Something is happening. And she's like, wow, now I've got the best guy ever. He's loving me. He's caring for me. He's going to be my guy for the rest of my life. And 6 months later, the guy starts beating up again. How is it possible that we have the same experience over and over again? Or you're changing a job, and you think like, finally, I get rid of that bad boss, that bad team, that bad culture, that bad whatever. And I find a new job, everything will be different. If you don't clean up your own inner beliefs, you're bringing your bad boss to the new company. Instead of being male, he might be female, or instead of female, she might be male, he might be male. Along that line, you're bringing it back because your mind is going to recreate that negative situation until you change something about it. You can never outperform your limiting beliefs unless you take them out. So let's do an exercise in a moment. Okay, I found that as well. Buddha, I love those quotes, okay? I'm not sharing anything new with you, okay? Believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who said it, no matter if I have said it, unless it agrees with your own reason and your own common sense, which you don't know. Even Buddha can say that your own reason or your own common sense could be installed from a limiting belief. So I was really wondering if I put that quote in. I like it nevertheless, but I'm not 100% agreeing with it. So put your beliefs on trial. That was one time somebody said in Clubhouse to me, put your beliefs on trial. How do you do it? Well, going to do an exercise in a moment, because whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you'll always be right. And there was something. So I want you, in a moment, we are going to do a longer exercise or a shorter exercise, however much it is. The word pronoia. I'm not sure. Did you ever hear the word pronoia? Share with me in your chat box if you do know the word pronoia. It is the opposite of paranoia. Paranoia means everything is conspiring against you. Pronoia means the belief that everything in the universe is conspiring to support you. Anybody who is actually negative, perceivably by you, anything is bad right now, is actually ultimately to help you get to the next level. How is that as a belief? It's a powerful belief. Do you like that belief? Share with me in the comment section if you actually like that belief, because I think it's really, really, really totally powerful. Is it a nice belief to have? There was something else. What's the best thing? No, okay. Is it a good belief? It sounds empowering. So be pronoia, be pronoitic. I don't even know the word for it, the verb for it. Be a little bit more pronoic. I don't know. Okay, let's do an exercise. Take out your piece of paper and do the following situation. Write down. Just take about 5 minutes. Yeah, I think we've got 15 more minutes or 20 more minutes, right, Andrea? A situation where you succeeded against all odds. And what did you believe before? And what did you believe after that situation? And what do you think? Why did you believe? Why did you succeed? What made it happen? Just write down something. It's a longer situation. Maybe one of you can come on stage right now and write down as much as you can. It's an exercise actually Anthony Robbins likes to do as well in one of his sessions. A situation where you succeeded against all odds. Something conspired against you and you thought like, I can't make it happen. I don't know how to make it happen. And you still did it somewhere along that line. Sham, you are the most friendliest person on this planet here right now. Would you like to go unmute yourself and say something about that? My apologies, I appreciate your volunteering right now.
I was voluntold.
You were voluntold. Oh, that's a new word for me, voluntold. I love it.
Yeah, okay. So a situation that I succeeded against all odds. I would think because I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur, okay? How I'm
supposed to be.
I think behind that, right? And a situation would be that I turned out, because the limiting belief that I have is that I could market my business. It's a very strong belief. I can deliver the service very well, but I have difficulty marketing. And I think the situation where I would start thinking that, of course I can market. Even people who have half the brain, I shouldn't speak so disparagingly about people. Even people who may not be so savvy about things are marketing very well. So why did I succeed? I would think that I've learned a lot from people, and I just go out there and start doing, like the Nike ad, just do it.
That's a good part, basically. So you were succeeding against all odds, right? You were succeeding against those people who told you can't make it happen.
Yeah, especially myself.
Especially yourself, exactly. Angela was saying right now as well that she went to France and somebody was telling her that she would not succeed because her French is not the best at that point of time. And it's pretty much the same on my side. Hey, my one of my former bosses was saying, like, my English is not good enough and I will always need to have somebody who's checking it out for me, make sure about having it, make sure somebody is correcting or reading my reports. Well, I still make it happen. Who cares about some spelling mistakes like the one experienced before? Who cares about that one? Because we can still make it happen along that line. So it is about practicing and making it happen. Some people say face a fear and still do it, break through. I'm not sure if it's always a good statement to have face your fear and break through, because some people, if you're facing your fear, you might feel the fear and not everybody can break through. And the fear might get actually stronger along that line. I see you, Sham. Thank you very much. The fear might get stronger for some people. Not everybody can break through. Sham, yes, what do you want to add on?
Jay wants to share something.
Oh, Jay. Okay. Yes, I look forward to your participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, so far for sharing. Love the energy, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep it very short. Your question was, did I have any limiting beliefs in my life or a challenge? And then I overcame it against all odds. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. Okay, and what makes it successful?
Wow. Okay. Well, first, let me share to all of you that I'm a qualified architect, all right, and a graphic designer with a master's degree from Japan. Wow. But in my mid-30s, I was diagnosed with an incurable genetic eye condition, and I started becoming blind.
Wow.
So I was also a photographer. So I had to quit everything I was doing, which was visual, which was architecture, design, creative marketing, painting, photography. And I started believing that I would be useless and my future was just a dark curtain falling in front of me. And for several months, I thought I was hopeless. I didn't know what I could do because those were my skill sets and my qualifications, right? And I started doing this for a long time until some friends started advising me on a few things and said, Jai, focus on the faculties you do have, which is you have the sense of touch, feel, hearing, tasting, and smelling, and you can speak. So maybe you should start focusing on improving your communication skills. And I started doing that. And one of the things that helped me, Andreas, is I changed my mindset.
That's what it's all about.
As Dr. Wayne Dyer says, I think you know this, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right?
Yes, they look back differently at you.
So I took a challenge, which was my challenge. And if you look at the word challenge, Andreas, it's LLE in the middle of that word, right? And those are my lame, limiting excuses. I dropped it.
I learned something.
And when I dropped it, challenge went to change.
Yes. Wow. I love it. Thank you so much. Hey, I learned something here. Yeah, I'm supposed to teach something or share something.
That happens to be the title of a self-published autobiography 3 years ago. I called it Challenge. Go from challenge to change, drop lame, limiting excuses.
Why don't you put the link to your book into the chat box so that people who are just new coming in here and get a chance to download it, purchase it? Because I learned, like, it was like a knowledge bomb you blasted here right now. I'm going to steal that from you, from challenge to change. I'm going to always attribute you. So really, really, that is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. I was recently, and I took that video out about it, and let me tell you a different story about that one. There's a guy with no legs, and had got artificial legs, and he was struggling his whole life about succeeding along that line, because of course, hey, when you're so-called disadvantaged in whatever situation, the so-called healthy people try to take care of you and sometimes help you too much. Sometimes it's even too much. I don't want to go into too much of the area. So he struggled his whole life to get acknowledgement for his success. And he wanted to go for the Olympics running against the fastest people in the world. Just about 2021, he wanted to do that. And he was forbidden to do it. They actually told him, and I'm more than happy to share that name. I forgot the name right now. I took it out from that presentation, but you can find it out. Man without legs, forbidden to run, so to speak, because they say like because of his artificial legs, he's too strong enough an advantage. Can you believe that? That somebody who says like, I was called disadvantaged my whole life, and now I can't run against the best runners in the world because I might out-succeed them. That's amazing, I believe, okay? But it's a mindset to have, that whatever holds us back, to get up and do it again. People who are successful succeed because they fall down 10 times, but get up an 11th time, or fall down 9 times and get up a 10th time. And those who are not making it happen, they are just saying like, it's not for me. So whenever you realize, that is really the thing we all need to learn. Whenever we realize something doesn't happen, we need to become more flexible. We got to stop hitting our head against the wall and saying like, I got to break through the wall, because, hey, the wall might be your lens. Your limiting belief within yourself, and go inside. Where is it coming from? How do I feel right now? What can I do differently? What can I do differently to make it happen? And we all can succeed. Realize we had COVID. Many of us succeeded in COVID even better. Everything went down to ground zero, and we made it happen ultimately. How many people gave up and couldn't make it happen, and other people succeeded nevertheless? How many people were against the wall, finding new ways to make it happen ultimately, going online? Grab, okay, they're complaining now about Grab taking too much money away. That's absolutely okay. It's human nature. I'm happy they're complaining about it, because it means they were at least successful, not giving up from the very first beginning. So it's really about asking yourself every single time, what can you do differently right now? But in order to create your life, and that's kind of like the last slide that I want to share with you, is always know your outcome first. Too many people know what they don't want. But if you know what you don't want, it's also good enough. I'm always worried. I've always thought like, hey, I'm 15 years training NLP. I'm around a lot of people. For me, it's normal to talk to people who know what they want. But I realize it over and over and over and over. And still again, there's so many people who know what they don't want. I don't want to be fat anymore, obese anymore. I don't want to fail anymore. I don't want to be belittled anymore. I don't want that. Turn it around and say, what do you want? You're starting to have a different focus already. There is something in your brain called reticular activation system. The moment you're focusing on what you want, your brain, the universe conspires, and you'll start to find it already. Even if you just close your eyes for a couple of seconds only, just do that for a moment. Close your eyes for a second and imagine you're seeing something, a color, red, color, red, color, red, color, red, color, red. Why do I say red? Because she is wearing red right now. So it's interestingly, okay, that's why I said red. Normally I say blue or yellow or whatever. So, and then the moment you, okay, I wear red as well, it's a bit unfair along that line. But the moment you open your eyes, look around, and I think the first thing you're going to find is something be red. Like I looked around, I saw the box, and I instantly saw the heart on Andrea's square, the heart, the beautiful heart. Instantly, it's your reticular activation system. You are getting what you're focusing on. And the sad part is, if you're focusing on something negative, bad is going to happen. The universe, your mind, the RAS is conspiring against you, and you will see what does not work out, because your lens will form it and say, it's not for me, it's negative again. Even if you're starting to focusing a little bit on something, a little bit on something positive, you're going to see that little step forward. Tony Robbins always says you don't need to have that major mindset changes. You don't need to go out and change the world instantly. It's a 2 degrees of change. The moment you're doing a little bit of change, something, then you start moving into a different direction already. Challenge is, according to Dr. Joe, where's my name? Up. We are 95% of the day, we are doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's really about purposely living consciously, doing something new. And then, of course, take action. What can you do now to get started? What can you do now? Take a whole list, write it down. It takes time. Be flexible. What have you not yet tried? People say, like, I tried everything. No, there's so much more you have not yet tried. And it helps you to expand your mind, writing it down, letting it out, relaxing, meditating, take a shower. The shower is when your unconscious mind is the closest to you. I believe very strongly in showering or sleeping, even in dreaming. There are people who wrote books while laying half of the time in bed and really visualizing it over. Think positive. It's so much harder to do sometimes, okay? But behave positively. What do you usually think about yourself? And turn that around. And believe that you're starting, the universe is conspired to assist you. And if you feel really negative, ask yourself a question. How could what you feel right now, how could the situation you're in right now, that bad situation you're in right now, how could it be the best situation you're in right now? How could it be what is the worst right now, the best one for you to bring you forward in the end of the day? Because in the end of the day, you are in charge of your mind and therefore your results. And just holding your mind is a very strong NLP presupposition, of course. Take responsibility for everything that happens to you and say, I am responsible for everything that happens to you. I am responsible for everything that happens to you. Even for traffic, even for something. Because if you say, I am responsible, you are not blaming anymore the circumstances, the environment, people around you, or yourself, or your limiting belief. If you're saying, I'm responsible, your mind opens up and you're accepting the learning. Yeah, traffic can be bad. We might be late. We might mess up certain stuff. But if you're saying, I am responsible, my team messed up, I'm responsible for my boss being so bad. The moment you're taking responsibility, you might say, what can I do about it? Yes, I hate my boss, I hate my wife, I hate my husband, I hate my cat, I hate my dog. Sorry about that outside. I love my wife, I love my cat. But if you're saying, if you don't like the situation right now, you have created that situation and you are in charge of your mind and therefore you result. If that guy thinks I can't make it, I wouldn't like to be in his shoes right now with that weight on my shoulders right now. I am in charge of my mind and therefore my results. So the only way to create your life, to cope with life, that's the last words for me. The only way to cope with life is to create it. To become comfortable with change is a step to be doing it. If you are starting to feel uncomfortable, if you are comfortable, you are in your comfort zone. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. You are comfortable. The moment you are out of the discomfort, your subconscious mind's main function is to keep you safe and protected. So you are not changing. Your subconscious mind doesn't want change. But if you start to feel comfortable in being uncomfortable, your subconscious mind is calling you back. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, because there might be a saber-toothed tiger eating you up. But then you start changing. And if you are outside of your comfort zone and you feel confused, I always like to say, confusion creates change or precedes change. So the more confused you are, basically, the more you are learning. The more confused you are, the more you're learning. Buy a new handphone, buy a new laptop, switch from Windows to Mac. You will be confused initially because you are learning something.
Andreas,
you gotta finish.
Calling you.
Yes, I do know my time is calling me. Okay, so one more slide. Stay in touch with me. Take a screenshot quickly of my social media. Hang out with me. I love sharing.